Here we are at the entrance of the garden. It's winter. It's all a bit not so green anymore. Here are the wood chips, the path, the glass house, my table for potting plants. So here we have two parts. On the right there is the veggie garden. In the middle we have our place to sit. It's not all covered, but we have nice picnic tables, a small caravan. And on the left there's the orchard, mostly apple trees. So we can first go there. Here we pile up our wood, leftovers from cutting the trees, pruning the trees. But also we have been cutting down some apple trees that weren't really good anymore. This is our baby walnut. Some bushes. Here are the first apple trees. Here is the small garden that the daughter of a friend of mine wants to make into a little veggie garden. So I gave her a little piece of that. So this is all apple trees. And there is another pile of old branches. And behind that there's the parking space. And here we go to the small fruit. There's some gooseberries. They're not really productive. And here is our huge walnut tree. We had lots of walnuts, but they're all except 10 stolen by squirrels. Chip and Dale come to visit us each year and eat everything. So here's the small fruit with raspberries, new raspberries. We planted them in spring, but they're not doing very well. We don't know why. Maybe it was too dry this summer. Didn't get a really good start. So here we continue, and there's 15 beehives. That's from a friend. He's a professional beekeeper. So he positioned 15 beehives. This spring we got really excellent honey. And finally the bees are sleeping, because up to last week it was way too warm and they were still active. So here is red currants. These are doing really well. Every year I make a lot of jam. So here we are at the end corner. Here are grapes, and they're not productive. And we are thinking about removing them, because after some years of trying to take good care of them, they don't grow really well and they hardly grow any grapes. So perhaps it's not the soil or the climate for grapes. Although here in Wageningen there's a vineyard as well. So here's some apple trees that are not doing well. They're quite old. It's not one, but it's like 3-4 varieties. Different ones. The previous owner, he collected a lot of old varieties of apples, but it turns out that the apples actually, you can't eat them. You can only make juice of it. That's also what we do. But also some of the trees are not really looking good, even after severe taking care of them, like pruning with a professional guidance. It's not really going that well. So here it is coming to the end of the orchard. Here are the white currants. They're very small, but they're really nice. But also they are a bit on the end of their, how do you say, productive years. So here is a quinch. Not many quinches this year on the tree. My little caravan. Here are 2 quinches that were really productive. They are really doing well. We actually sold them in a local shop. So here's a lot of free space. Here's the place to eat and cook. There's 2 small kitchens. Everything covered up right now. Here's our new magnolia. We hope we get nice flowers next year. Here we enter into the veggie garden. So here we cut down some bushes. You want to make a table. Here is the large compost heap. In here we put the rough stuff that will not decompose easily. And here we've built a cover for tomatoes. We had really good tomatoes this year. And here is the part where I mostly grow zucchini. 2 cherry trees. One's doing really well, the other one always is a bit later. And then we have the Suzuki fly that practically digs a hole in every cherry and they're not edible anymore, which is a pity. And here is the rooftop of our shed. We're not allowed to build anything here, but this was already here and it's like 1 meter at least into the ground. So we keep all our materials there and we have a nice natural roof, green roof. It's doing pretty well after a bit of rain. So here we go. This is my herb garden. I have Mediterranean herbs like thyme, rosemary, sage, also parsley, but that's now of course finished because it has been freezing. And behind that there's the, let's say, water section. We have a well with a pump. And it works really well, but it's of course heavy work. Well, it's a good fitness area, let's say. So here we have still green cabbage for the Dutch stampot. Of course, there's some. Oh, there's a cardoon. It was 3 meters at least high, and we cut it down, and now it's already starting to grow again. Really nice. Okay, on the back we planted some flowers and they're amazing. Every year it's like a huge bush of flowers. I think they're the kind of the in Dutch it's like a zonnehoed. It's like sun hat. There's another one, big one. And here's still some rucola, but it's way too sharp. It's way too big. So there's still some greens. Here's the other compost hives. We have one for leaves. We have one for normal stuff. And we have a new one. And I think this is a mixed one, a new one. And we have this one, and my partner loves to experiment with this. And I think it's a really wormy, lots of worms. So we continue, and you can see very well that under these apple trees it's really rich. There's nettles, there's all types of plants under this. It's really nice. Not so much edible, except from if you want to eat nettle soup, of course. But it's really nicely covered. So here we're back at the glass house. And I did put some seeds in the ground, chervil, but it's not yet showing. And this is our little glass house. And there's some plants that are trying to have them survive the winter. And I saw some amsoy and pak choy and some chard. So hopefully we can get a little bit of green in winter as well. So this was our little tour.